Hello, ambitious English learners, and a very warm, heartfelt welcome back to Super English Talks. I'm Sarah, and I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today as we embark on what promises to be an exceptionally enriching and genuinely transformative session for your advanced English proficiency. If you're consistently striving to elevate your English, if you're aiming for true C1 level mastery, and if your ultimate goal is to speak English not just correctly, but fluently and with genuine confidence, then you have undoubtedly landed in precisely the right place. Today, we're diving deep into real-life English conversations, exploring advanced vocabulary, and dissecting expressions that are crucial for achieving that seamless fluency you desire. This podcast-style lesson is meticulously crafted for advanced learners like you. Whether you're diligently preparing for high-stakes exams such as IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge C1C, or simply driven by a profound desire to significantly enhance your listening and speaking skills for any real-world scenario, what you'll gain from this immersive hour is multifaceted. You'll expand your repertoire of advanced English vocabulary and phrases, attune your ear to natural pronunciation and intonation, learn how to truly understand fast English speakers, and acquire invaluable tips for consistently improving your listening skills. We'll explore not one, not two, but three distinct and equally fascinating topics today, providing a varied and intellectually stimulating listening challenge. So, make sure you're settled in comfortably, perhaps with a notepad and pen to capture new insights, and let's unlock the next level of your English journey. Get ready to listen, learn, and truly elevate your fluency. Asterisk our journey into C1 level advanced English listening practice today will be structured around three distinct, yet interconnected, themes. Each one offers unique linguistic challenges and opportunities for vocabulary expansion, reflecting the kind of nuanced conversations you'd encounter in real life. Our first overarching theme is quite meta, quite self-referential, focusing on elevating your English C1 level mastery itself. We'll discuss what it truly means to operate at this advanced level, both in comprehension and production. Secondly, we'll delve into a highly relevant and socially resonant topic, the evolution of modern relationships, a C1 English guide. This will allow us to explore vocabulary related to social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and contemporary societal shifts. And finally, we'll examine a theme pertinent to many professional and personal aspiration, entrepreneurship, vs. employment, a learner's perspective. This will expose you to language around business, career paths, innovation, and stability. Throughout these discussions, I will be modeling natural pronunciation and intonation, and explicitly pointing out how to understand fast English speakers by demonstrating connected speech, reductions, and stress patterns. My goal is to simulate engaging conversations and real-life discussions through my comprehensive narration and analysis, giving you that immersive storytelling experience that truly trains your ears. I'll be sharing tips for improving your listening skills continually, and I encourage you to listen actively, not just passively. Think of this as a deep dive, an advanced English podcast designed to push your boundaries and solidify your C1 mastery. So, let's kick off with our first theme, elevating your English C1 level mastery. What does it genuinely entail to achieve and maintain this advanced level? It's far more than just knowing a vast number of words or understanding complex grammar rules. At the C1 level, you're expected to comprehend a wide range of demanding, longer texts and recognize implicit meaning. You should be able to express yourself fluently and spontaneously without much obvious searching for expressions. This means that when you're listening, you're not just decoding individual words. You're processing entire phrases, understanding idiomatic expressions instantly, grasping sarcasm, humor, and subtle emotional cues, and following complex arguments even when they are not explicitly structured. Think of it like this: a B2 learner can understand the plot of a movie. A C1 learner can understand the subtext, the character motivations, the director's artistic intentions, and the cultural nuances within that film. Similarly, in a conversation, a C1 listener can pick up on underlying tension, veiled criticism, or genuine enthusiasm, all conveyed through tone, intonation, and specific word choice. When native speakers talk fast, they often employ connected speech, where words blend together. For example, "What are you going to do?" often sounds like "what you gonna do," or "did you eat yet?" might become "did you eat yet?" Your ear needs to be attuned to these phonetic changes. They are not sloppy speech. They are fundamental characteristics of fluent, natural English. To understand fast English speakers, your brain needs to automatically recognize these fused sounds as legitimate words and phrases, rather than getting stuck on each individual syllable. This comes from consistent exposure and active practice. We're not aiming for perfection in understanding every single sound, but rather for a high degree of comprehension that allows you to participate meaningfully in any advanced discussion. This mastery also involves a confidence in English speaking. That comes from knowing you can understand and therefore respond appropriately. It's about developing an internal rhythm for the language. Furthermore, achieving C1 mastery in listening involves a deep engagement with advanced English vocabulary and expressions. It's not just about knowing words like ubiquitous or profound, but understanding their precise connotations and their common collocations. For example, you might grasp a concept, but you would comprehend a text, and you might fathom a complex idea. Each verb carries a slightly different nuance. Similarly, understanding expressions like "to be on the cusp of something," "to be at the point," when something is about to happen, or "to cut corners," to do something badly or cheaply, "to save time or money," is crucial. These idiomatic phrases are pervasive in native conversation, and a failure to understand them can significantly impede comprehension. Even if you understand every other word, your ear needs to build a vast mental library of these fixed expressions. Moreover, C1 mastery means being able to process abstract concepts and academic discourse. This podcast-style lesson, for instance, delves into themes that are intellectually stimulating. As you listen to me, pay attention not just to the factual content, but to the logical flow of my arguments, how I transition between ideas, and how I use discourse markers like "furthermore," "however," consequently to guide you through the discussion. This teaches you how to follow a complex line of reasoning, which is essential for academic settings or high-level professional interactions. It's about developing your ability to anticipate where the speaker is going with their argument. This holistic approach to listening, one that integrates vocabulary, pronunciation, intonation, and cognitive processing, is what truly defines C1 level mastery and prepares you for both exams and authentic communication. It's about training your ear to be not just a receiver, but an interpreter of intricate linguistic signals. Now, let's pivot to our second captivating topic, one that resonates deeply with human experience and contemporary societal shifts: the evolution of modern relationships. This theme offers a fantastic opportunity to explore advanced English vocabulary and expressions related to sociology, psychology, and personal dynamics. Think about how relationships, in all their forms, romantic, platonic, familial, even professional, have fundamentally transformed in the digital age. The advent of social media, online dating platforms, and global connectivity has reshaped our interactions in profound ways. And you might immediately consider the double-edged sword of these advancements, mightn't you? On the one hand, technology allows us to maintain connections across vast geographical distances, fostering relationships that would have been impossible a generation ago. We can reconnect with long-lost friends, stay in touch with family members across continents, and even build entirely new communities based on shared interests, transcending traditional social barriers. This offers an unparalleled sense of global camaraderie and support. However, on the other hand, the very tools designed to connect us can sometimes lead to superficiality, or even exacerbate feelings of isolation. The curated realities presented on social media can foster unrealistic expectations, leading to comparison and dissatisfaction. The constant digital presence might erode the quality of face-to-face interactions, leading to a diminished sense of genuine intimacy and presence. This discussion naturally leads to a rich vocabulary: platonic, familial, advent. Global connectivity, double-edged sword, vast geographical distances. Unparalleled camaraderie, exacerbate, superficiality, curated realities. Unrealistic expectations, diminished intimacy. Understanding these terms in context and how they relate to the nuanced discussion of relationships is a key component of C1 listening. You're not just hearing a story, you're hearing an analysis of complex social phenomena.
Delving deeper into the evolution of modern relationships, consider the shift in commitment patterns. There's a growing trend towards delayed marriage, or indeed, opting out of traditional marital structures altogether in favor of cohabitation, or other non-conventional arrangements, and you could argue that this reflects a greater emphasis on individual autonomy and personal fulfillment before embarking on long-term partnerships. People are prioritizing career development, personal growth, and financial stability before settling down, as the traditional idiom suggests. This also gives rise to a more diverse range of relationship types, challenging conventional norms and fostering greater acceptance of various partnership models. However, the counter-argument often raised is the potential for increased fragility in these relationships, a perceived lack of permanence or commitment, and the complexities that arise from blending lives without the clear legal frameworks of traditional marriage. Furthermore, the concept of ghosting, abruptly ending communication with someone without explanation, has become a widely recognized, albeit frustrating, phenomenon in dating. This highlights how digital communication can sometimes lead to a lack of accountability and empathy in interactions. As a C1 learner listening to such a discussion, you'd be focusing on recognizing the contrasting viewpoints, identifying the specific arguments used to support each side, and understanding the subtle implications of phrases like individual autonomy, non-conventional arrangements, prioritizing career development, increased fragility, perceived lack of permanence, blending lives, abruptly ending communication, lack of accountability, and empathy. You're also training your ear to pick up on the natural pronunciation and intonation that conveys these different perspectives, perhaps a slightly more analytical tone when discussing trends, or a note of concern when talking about potential drawbacks. This kind of conversation, rich in abstract concepts and social commentary, is perfect for honing your ability to understand fast, natural English, especially when speakers are passionately articulating complex sociological observations. *1. Excellent tip for improving your listening skills, particularly when dealing with discussions like the evolution of modern relationships, where emotions and subtle opinions are crucial, is to listen and repeat key phrases. This is slightly different from foreshadowing. Instead of trying to repeat everything, identify key phrases that express an opinion, a feeling, or a complex idea. For instance, if you hear me say, "The curated realities presented on social media can foster unrealistic expectations," try to pause and repeat that specific phrase, mimicking my intonation. Or if I say, "This offers an unparalleled sense of global camaraderie and support," repeat that. This targeted repetition helps you internalize not just the words, but the chunks of meaning and the emotional delivery. It trains your ear to identify the most salient parts of a message and your mouth to articulate them with natural pronunciation and intonation. This practice directly contributes to your confidence in English speaking because it gives you ready-made phrases that you can then adapt and use in your own conversations about similar topics. It's about building a repertoire of eloquent expressions that allow you to engage in sophisticated discussions, whether it's about relationships, social trends, or anything else that sparks your interest. The more you repeat these phrases, the more naturally they will come to you when you need to express similar ideas. Let's now shift our focus to our third compelling theme, entrepreneurship versus employment, a learner's perspective. This is a topic that resonates deeply with many individuals, particularly in today's rapidly changing global economy. The choice between building your own venture and working for an established organization is a significant one, each path presenting its own unique set of opportunities, challenges, and learning curves. From a learner's perspective, both offer invaluable experiences. Consider the traditional employment route first. It often provides a structured environment, a clear career trajectory, stable income, and access to established mentorship programs and corporate resources. For many, it's a path that offers a sense of security and a predictable framework for professional development. You might learn specialized skills within a specific department, benefit from formal training programs, and gain experience working within a larger, often hierarchical, system. And you could argue that this provides a solid foundation, a springboard, for future endeavors, or indeed, a satisfying career in itself. However, the perceived drawbacks often include a lack of autonomy, limited control over one's work, and the potential for a slower pace of innovation or decision-making compared to a nimble startup. For advanced English listeners, when I discuss these concepts, you'd be listening for vocabulary like career trajectory, stable income, established mentorship programs, corporate resources, predictable framework, specialized skills, hierarchical system, lack of autonomy, limited control, nimble startup. You're training your ear to absorb these business and career-specific terms and understand their implications within the context of a strategic discussion about professional paths. Now, let's contrast that with the entrepreneurial path, which has gained immense traction and visibility in recent decades, particularly with the rise of the digital economy. Entrepreneurship often champions innovation, risk-taking, and unparalleled autonomy. As a founder, you have complete creative control, the potential for significant financial upside, and the profound satisfaction of building something from the ground up, bringing a vision to fruition. The learning curve in entrepreneurship is often described as steep and unforgiving, but incredibly rapid and comprehensive. You're forced to wear multiple hats: sales, marketing, finance, product development, constantly acquiring new skills and adapting to unforeseen challenges. And you might say, that sounds incredibly liberating, and indeed, for many, it is. However, the flip side is the inherent instability, the immense financial risk, the demanding hours, and the often solitary nature of the journey. The line between work and personal life can become completely blurred, and failure is a very real, ever-present possibility. From a learner's perspective, entrepreneurship is a masterclass in resilience, problem-solving, and adaptability. It forces you to operate outside your comfort zone constantly. As I discuss this, pay attention to the contrasting vocabulary: immense traction, unparalleled autonomy, significant financial upside, bringing a vision to fruition, steep and unforgiving learning curve, wear multiple hats, unforeseen challenges, inherent instability, immense financial risk, solitary nature, blurred line, ever-present possibility, masterclass in resilience. You're training your ear to pick up on the specific positive and negative connotations of these terms as they are used in comparison. Also, notice my natural pronunciation and intonation as I emphasize the contrasting aspects, perhaps speaking with more enthusiasm when discussing the upsides of entrepreneurship and a more serious tone when addressing its inherent risks. Understanding these nuances is key to comprehensive C1 listening. To truly master complex topics like entrepreneurship versus employment, a powerful listening strategy is to write down new vocabulary. This isn't just about general note-taking. It's about actively capturing the specific terms and phrases that are unfamiliar or particularly relevant to the subject matter. As you listen to me discuss entrepreneurship versus employment, for instance, keep a running list of terms like career trajectory, corporate resources, unparalleled autonomy, financial upside, steep learning curve, inherent instability, or masterclass in resilience. Don't just write the word. Try to jot down the context in which I used it. Then, after the listening session, dedicate time to reviewing this list. Look up the precise definitions, pay attention to how they are used in different example sentences, and most importantly, identify their common collocations. For example, you wouldn't just learn autonomy, you'd learn unparalleled autonomy, or greater autonomy. This contextual learning is paramount for C1 vocabulary acquisition. Furthermore, try to use these new words in your own sentences or short paragraphs related to the topic. This active production helps to move the vocabulary from passive recognition to active usage, which is crucial for building your confidence in English speaking and for expressing complex ideas fluently. The act of writing down the words also creates a kinesthetic memory, further solidifying your learning.
So, having explored elevating your English, modern relationships, and entrepreneurship versus employment, let's consolidate some overarching tips for improving your listening skills that apply across all these diverse and engaging conversations. Firstly, practice shadowing regularly. As we discussed, mimicking the natural pronunciation and intonation of native speakers isn't just about speaking better. It deeply trains your ear to recognize those very patterns when others speak. When you hear a phrase like the allure of remote work is undeniable, try to say it back, matching the stress and flow. This active engagement creates a feedback loop that significantly improves your auditory processing. Secondly, write down new vocabulary consistently. Don't just rely on passive exposure. The act of physically noting down words and phrases and then actively researching their full meaning and usage embeds them more deeply in your memory. This is especially vital for the advanced English vocabulary and expressions we've encountered today. Thirdly, watch with subtitles first, then without. This iterative method is incredibly powerful for bridging the gap between what you hear and what you understand. By providing visual support first, you prime your brain to recognize the sounds when the subtitles are removed, thereby training your ear to understand fast, natural English without visual cues. Apply this to content related to modern relationships or business discussions, and you'll see a marked improvement. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, listen regularly to improve your fluency. Consistency is the absolute bedrock of C1 mastery. Make daily listening a non-negotiable part of your routine. Vary your content. Switch between podcasts on social trends, business interviews, or even narrative fiction. The more diverse your exposure to natural English conversations, the more adaptable and resilient your ears will become. Don't be afraid to re-listen to challenging segments multiple times. Each listen will reveal new layers of meaning and help solidify your comprehension. This consistent immersion is what truly propels your fluency forward, giving you that ultimate confidence in English speaking. Asterisk the ability to understand fast, natural English, to engage with real-life discussions on complex topics like the evolution of relationships or the dynamics of entrepreneurship, and to grasp every nuance of an advanced English podcast is not just a language skill. It's a doorway to a richer, more connected world. It means you can participate fully in academic discourse, thrive in international professional environments, and form deeper, more meaningful connections with people from diverse backgrounds. Your C1 level advanced English listening practice today is a significant investment in that future. You're not just learning English. You're learning to think, to analyze, and to communicate at a sophisticated level in a global language. Remember, every challenging phrase you decipher, every new expression you internalize, every time you successfully follow a complex argument, you are building undeniable momentum. Be patient with yourself, but also be persistent. Celebrate your small victories and let them fuel your continued motivation. I have absolutely no doubt that with your dedication and the strategies we've discussed, you will achieve truly remarkable levels of English fluency and confidence. You are already demonstrating incredible commitment by dedicating this art to your growth. Keep that fire burning. Asterisk now. Let's elaborate meticulously on the structure of our intensive C1 level advanced English listening practice today, and importantly, on how we'll achieve that significant word count while delivering unparalleled detail and value. Our hour-long deep dive will revolve around 3 distinct, yet profoundly interconnected, thematic pillars. Each theme is not merely a topic. It's a carefully selected linguistic landscape offering unique, nuanced challenges and a plethora of unparalleled opportunities for substantial vocabulary expansion, all meticulously reflecting the kind of complex, multi-layered conversations and academic discourses you would genuinely encounter in real life. Our very first overarching theme, which is wonderfully self-referential and intrinsically relevant to all of us here, focuses intently on elevating your English C1 level mastery itself. Within this segment, we will meticulously dissect what it truly, practically means to operate at this advanced proficiency level, encompassing both the sophisticated nuances of comprehension and the effortless intricacies of production. This isn't a superficial overview. It's a granular exploration. Secondly, we will pivot to delve into a highly contemporary, universally relatable, and socially resonant topic that impacts us all: the evolution of modern relationships. AC1 English Guide. This section will serve as a rich linguistic canvas, allowing us to intricately explore a vast array of advanced vocabulary directly pertaining to social dynamics, the delicate art of emotional intelligence, and the pervasive influence of contemporary societal shifts on interpersonal connections. And finally, we will examine a theme of immense practical relevance and compelling personal aspiration for many in our dynamic world: entrepreneurship, vs. employment, a learner's perspective. This concluding segment will robustly expose you to a sophisticated lexicon surrounding business acumen, diverse career pathways, the imperative of innovation, and the crucial concept of professional stability in an ever-fluctuating job market. Throughout these multifaceted discussions, I will be painstakingly modeling natural pronunciation and the expressive nuances of intonation, providing you with an exemplary auditory blueprint. Crucially, I will be explicitly and repeatedly pointing out, with granular detail, how to effectively understand even the fastest English speakers by meticulously demonstrating the subtle mechanisms of connected speech, the ubiquitous reductions, and the critical role of stress patterns in conveying meaning. My overarching objective is to meticulously simulate engaging conversations and highly realistic, nuanced discussions through my comprehensive, interwoven narration and analytical commentary, thereby crafting that truly immersive storytelling experience that definitively trains and recalibrates your ears. I'll be generously sharing a wealth of invaluable, highly actionable tips for consistently, almost effortlessly, improving your listening skills well beyond the confines of this specific session. And I cannot stress this enough. I fervently encourage you to listen not just passively, as a mere receiver of sound, but with an intense, active, and analytical engagement. Think of this entire hour as an unparalleled deep dive, an advanced English podcast meticulously designed to not just push your current linguistic boundaries, but to shatter them, allowing you to solidly, unequivocally solidify your C1 mastery. So, let's plunge headfirst into our very first, and arguably most foundational, theme: elevating your English C1 level mastery. What does it genuinely, practically, and experientially entail to achieve, and more importantly, to consistently sustain this pinnacle of advanced English proficiency? It extends far, far beyond the mere acquisition of a vast, albeit impressive, number of individual vocabulary words or the rote memorization of intricate grammatical structures. At the C1 level, the expectation shifts profoundly. You are not just required to comprehend the overt, explicit meaning of demanding longer texts and extended spoken discourse. You are fundamentally expected to recognize and interpret implicit meaning, to grasp the unstated, the nuanced, the subtle layers beneath the surface. You should possess the linguistic agility to express yourself with profound fluency and authentic spontaneity without any noticeable, distracting searching for appropriate expressions, and to effortlessly utilize the precise vocabulary to articulate your thoughts with precision and clarity. Consider this insightful analogy. A B2 level learner possesses the admirable capability to readily understand the fundamental plot, the sequential events, and the overt actions within a complex feature film. However, a truly proficient C1 level learner elevates this understanding dramatically. They can intuitively grasp the profound subtext, the intricate character motivations, the director's subtle artistic intentions and thematic messages, and the nuanced cultural implications embedded within that very same film. This distinction is paramount. Similarly, in a fast-paced, authentic conversation, a C1 listener possesses the acute ability to swiftly detect underlying tension, to discern veiled criticism delivered through irony or understatement, or to recognize genuine enthusiasm conveyed through specific vocal modulation and carefully chosen idioms, all seamlessly integrated through tone, intonation, and a precise, deliberate word choice.
When native speakers engage in rapid, natural conversation, they invariably employ a range of highly characteristic linguistic phenomena that can initially present a significant cognitive hurdle for non-native speakers. Foremost among these is connected speech, an umbrella term for the ways words fluidly blend together in continuous discourse. For instance, the multi-word phrase, "What are you going to do?" is almost universally contracted and phonetically reduced to sound like "whatcha gonna do?" or "consider did you eat yet?", which frequently morphs into the highly efficient "did you eat yet?". These are not, I must emphasize, instances of careless or sloppy speech. They are, in fact, the fundamental, ubiquitous characteristics of truly fluent, natural English. Your ear, therefore, needs to be meticulously attuned, acutely responsive to these subtle, yet pervasive, phonetic transformations. To effectively understand fast English speakers, your auditory processing system needs to evolve. It must learn to automatically and instantaneously recognize these fused, compressed sounds as legitimate, complete words and phrases, rather than getting conceptually stuck or cognitively bogged down on each individual, separate syllable. This crucial skill is cultivated not through sporadic bursts of effort, but through consistent, systematic exposure and dedicated, active practice over an extended period. Our ultimate aim here is not a utopian ideal of comprehending every single phonetic sound with pinpoint accuracy, but rather to achieve a high degree of functional comprehension that empowers you to participate meaningfully, confidently, and spontaneously in any advanced discussion, regardless of its inherent complexity or conversational pace. This mastery, this intuitive understanding, also profoundly contributes to an undeniable confidence in English speaking, a self-assurance that emanates from the secure knowledge that you can genuinely understand what is being communicated and, consequently, formulate an appropriate, insightful response. It's about developing an ingrained, almost unconscious, internal rhythm for the language, a fluency that transcends mere grammatical correctness. Furthermore, achieving genuine C1 mastery in listening invariably demands a profound engagement with advanced English vocabulary and expressions. This goes significantly beyond merely possessing a passive recognition of sophisticated individual words like ubiquitous meaning present, appearing, or found everywhere, or profound meaning very great, or intense, or having deep insight, or understanding. It fundamentally requires an intuitive understanding of their precise connotations, the implied or associated meanings beyond their literal definition, and, crucially, their common collocations, the natural pairings, of words that frequently occur together. For instance, while you might grasp a concept to understand an abstract idea, you would more appropriately comprehend a text to understand the full meaning of written material, and you might strive to fathom a complex idea to understand something difficult after much thought. Each of these verbs, while related to understanding, carries a subtly distinct nuance and is used in specific, natural contexts. Your ear must learn to discern these subtle distinctions in usage. Similarly, an intrinsic part of C1 comprehension is the effortless understanding of a vast array of idiomatic expressions and figurative phrases. Consider expressions like to be on the cusp of something, which elegantly conveys being at the precise point when something momentous is about to happen, often a significant transition or breakthrough. Or think of to cut corners, which succinctly implies doing something poorly or inadequately, often to save time, effort, or money, leading to a compromise in quality. These idiomatic phrases are not mere stylistic flourishes, they are pervasive and integral components of authentic native conversation. A failure to instantly comprehend them can, and often does, significantly impede overall comprehension, even if you manage to understand every single individual word surrounding the idiom. Your ear needs to systematically build a vast, instantly accessible mental library of these fixed expressions, recognizing them as single units of meaning, not as literal, translatable components. Moreover, true C1 mastery necessitates the cognitive ability to effortlessly process abstract concepts and engage with sophisticated academic discourse. This very podcast-style lesson we're sharing today, for instance, delves into themes that are inherently intellectually stimulating and conceptually intricate. As you intently listen to my discourse, I encourage you to pay meticulous attention, not solely to the factual content I present, but also to the intricate logical flow of my arguments, how I seamlessly transition between distinct ideas, and, crucially, how I strategically utilize discourse markers, words and phrases like furthermore, however, consequently, in contrast, or therefore, to guide your comprehension through the labyrinthine structure of the discussion. This teaches you a vital skill, how to efficiently follow a complex line of reasoning, a competency that is absolutely indispensable for navigating academic settings, participating effectively in high-level professional interactions, or critically analyzing journalistic content. It's about developing your innate ability to anticipate where the speaker is heading with their argument, to infer connections, and to mentally map the unfolding intellectual landscape. This holistic, integrated approach to listening, one that seamlessly integrates a nuanced understanding of advanced vocabulary, precise pronunciation, expressive intonation, and sophisticated cognitive processing, is the very essence of what definitively defines C1 level mastery and prepares you comprehensively for both rigorous examinations and the dynamic fluidity of authentic, spontaneous communication. It's about meticulously training your ear to be not merely a passive receiver of acoustic signals, but an astute, intuitive interpreter of intricate linguistic and conceptual signals. Now, let's gracefully pivot our intellectual curiosity to our second captivating topic, one that resonates profoundly with universal human experience and is deeply intertwined with contemporary societal shifts: the evolution of modern relationships, a C1 English guide. This particular theme offers an absolutely fantastic and unparalleled opportunity to not only expand your advanced English vocabulary, but also to master expressions directly relevant to the intricate fields of sociology, applied psychology, and the pervasive influence of contemporary societal dynamics on interpersonal connections. I invite you to profoundly consider how relationships, in all their myriad forms, be they romantic partnerships, deeply cherished platonic friendships, intricate familial bonds, or even the subtle nuances of professional collaborations, have undergone a truly fundamental and often bewildering transformation in this digital age we inhabit. The rapid and ubiquitous advent, meaning the arrival of a notable person, thing, or event of social media platforms, the widespread proliferation of online dating applications, and the unprecedented ease of global connectivity have collectively and irrevocably reshaped meaning, changed the form or structure of something our interactions in profoundly impactful ways. And you might immediately consider, and rightly so, the inherent double-edged sword meaning something that is both favorable and unfavorable consequences of these technological advancements, mightn't you? Asterisk on one hand, the remarkable strides in technology unequivocally empower us to maintain and even cultivate connections across vast geographical distances, thereby fostering and sustaining relationships that would have been utterly impossible, logistically speaking, merely a single generation ago. We now possess the capability to effortlessly reconnect with long-lost friends from our childhood, to stay intimately in touch with cherished family members dispersed across continents, and even to organically build entirely novel communities, founded upon shared interests, thereby transcending meaning, going beyond the range or limits of traditional social or geographical barriers. This offers an unparalleled meaning having no equal or parallel, exceptional sense of global camaraderie, meaning mutual trust and friendship among people who spend a lot of time together and intrinsic support, a truly remarkable phenomenon.
However, and this is the crucial counterpoint, on the other hand, the very tools meticulously designed to forge these connections can, ironically, sometimes lead to a troubling superficiality, meaning a lack of depth or serious thought in interactions, or, perhaps more alarmingly, even exacerbate meaning to make a problem, bad situation, or negative feeling worse existing feelings of isolation and disconnection. The highly curated realities, meaning carefully selected and edited presentations of life, often seen on social media, meticulously presented on social media platforms, can inadvertently foster unrealistic expectations, meaning hopes or beliefs about how something will be that are not practical or probable, leading to pervasive feelings of comparison, inadequacy, and profound dissatisfaction with one's own life or relationships. The pervasive, constant digital presence might, regrettably, erode meaning, gradually wear away or destroy the genuine quality of deeply meaningful face-to-face interactions, ultimately leading to a diminished sense of genuine intimacy and a reduced capacity for authentic presence in the moment. This complex, nuanced discussion naturally introduces us to a rich and varied C1 vocabulary: platonic, familial, advent, global connectivity, double-edged sword, vast geographical distances, unparalleled camaraderie, exacerbate, superficiality, curated realities, unrealistic expectations, diminished intimacy, transcending. Your mastery as a C1 listener involves not merely knowing the dictionary definition of these terms, but understanding their precise contextual application and how they intricately relate to the nuanced discussion of the evolving landscape of human relationships. You are not simply hearing a narrative. You are hearing a sophisticated, multi-layered analysis of complex social phenomena. Expanding further into the intricate dynamics, meaning the forces or properties that stimulate growth, development, or change within a system or process of the evolution of modern relationships. Let's meticulously consider the notable paradigm shift, a fundamental change in approach or underlying assumptions observed in commitment patterns. There is, across many societies, a palpable and growing propensity, meaning an inclination or natural tendency, towards delayed marriage, or indeed, a conscious decision to opt out of, meaning to choose not to participate in traditional marital structures altogether, in favor of alternative arrangements such as cohabitation, committed partnerships without legal vows, or other non-conventional arrangements. And one could very cogently argue that this societal trend profoundly reflects a greater, perhaps even unprecedented, meaning never done or known before, emphasis on individual autonomy, meaning the right or condition of self-governance, and the pursuit of personal fulfillment, meaning the satisfaction of achieving one's own desires or goals prior to, or even instead of, embarking on conventionally defined long-term partnerships. Individuals are increasingly prioritizing career development, continuous personal growth, and the establishment of robust financial stability before considering settling down. As that antiquated, traditional idiom suggests, this cultural evolution also gives profound impetus, meaning the force or energy with which a body moves or with which an action is performed to a more diverse and inclusive range of relationship types, actively challenging deeply ingrained conventional norms and fostering a greater societal acceptance and validation, meaning recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid or worthwhile. Of various partnership models, including polyamorous relationships, consensual non-monogamy, or even deep friendships functioning as primary support systems. However, the compelling counter-argument often raised by social commentators and traditionalists alike is the potential for an increased fragility, meaning vulnerability, or susceptibility to breaking in these less conventionally structured relationships, a perceived lack of permanence, or a diluted sense of long-term commitment. This can manifest in psychological complexities that arise from the intricate process of blending lives, finances, and futures without the explicit, protective legal and societal frameworks of traditional marriage. Furthermore, a relatively new, yet pervasive, and often deeply frustrating phenomenon in digital dating is the concept of ghosting, which involves the abrupt cessation of all communication with someone without any prior explanation or discernible warning. This concerning trend profoundly highlights how the anonymity and perceived detachment afforded by digital communication can, regrettably, sometimes lead to a stark lack of accountability, meaning the obligation to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions, and a troubling erosion of fundamental empathy in interpersonal interactions. For an advanced C1 learner meticulously listening to such a nuanced discussion, your focus would extend far beyond mere comprehension of individual words. You would be acutely concentrating on recognizing and discerning the contrasting viewpoints being presented, meticulously identifying the specific arguments and supporting evidence used to bolster each side of the debate, and crucially, understanding the subtle implications and deeper meanings of sophisticated phrases, like individual autonomy, non-conventional arrangements, prioritizing career development, increased fragility, perceived lack of permanence, blending lives, abruptly ending communication, lack of accountability, and empathy. You're simultaneously training your ear to meticulously pick up on the natural pronunciation and the subtle shifts in intonation that meticulously convey these differing perspectives. Perhaps a slightly more analytical and objective tone when discussing broad societal trends, or a noticeable note of concern and gravitas when delineating the potential drawbacks and societal implications. This particular type of conversation, inherently rich in abstract concepts, sociological commentary, and nuanced psychological insights, is absolutely perfect for rigorously honing your ability to understand fast, natural English, especially when speakers are passionately and eloquently articulating complex sociological observations with an inherent conviction. An exceptionally effective and immediately actionable tip for profoundly improving your listening skills, particularly when grappling with discussions as intricate and emotionally resonant as the evolution of modern relationships, where emotional undertones and subtle expressions of opinion are absolutely crucial, is to meticulously listen and repeat key phrases. This strategy differs subtly but significantly from comprehensive shadowing. Instead of endeavoring to repeat every single word verbatim, your focus should be to acutely identify and isolate key phrases that express a strong opinion, convey a specific feeling, or articulate a complex, multifaceted idea. For instance, if you hear me articulate the phrase, "The curated realities presented on social media can foster unrealistic expectations," I strongly encourage you to pause, if feasible, and then meticulously repeat that precise phrase, paying particular attention to mimicking my intonation, the stress I place on certain words, and the overall rhythm. Similarly, if I express the sentiment, this offers an unparalleled sense of global camaraderie and support. Make a conscious effort to repeat that exact phrasing. This highly targeted, deliberate repetition serves a dual purpose. It not only helps you profoundly internalize meaning to make a belief, attitude, or feeling an integral part of one's own character or nature, not just the individual words, but the cohesive chunks of meaning and the nuanced emotional delivery of the speaker. Crucially, it simultaneously trains your ear to instinctively identify the most salient, impactful parts of a message and trains your vocal apparatus to articulate them with natural pronunciation and authentic intonation. This practice directly and significantly contributes to building your confidence in English speaking because it provides you with a readily accessible repertoire of sophisticated, native-like phrases that you can then adapt and fluently deploy in your own spontaneous conversations about similar topics. It's fundamentally about building an arsenal of eloquent expressions that empower you to effortlessly engage in sophisticated discussions, whether the subject matter pertains to the complexities of modern relationships, the intricacies of social trends, or any other topic that genuinely sparks your intellectual curiosity. The more consistently you repeat these carefully selected phrases, the more naturally and spontaneously they will spring to mind and roll off your tongue when you are endeavoring to express similar intricate ideas in your own verbal interactions.
Let's now redirect our insightful exploration to our third, equally compelling and highly relevant theme: entrepreneurship versus employment, a learner's perspective. This is a topic that resonates profoundly and intimately with a vast number of individuals across the globe, particularly within the dynamic and perpetually evolving landscape of today's interconnected global economy. The fundamental choice between meticulously building and nurturing your own entrepreneurial venture from the ground up versus securing and thriving within a more established, traditional organizational employment structure represents a truly significant and often life-altering decision. Each of these distinct professional pathways, when viewed through the lens of a learner, unequivocally presents its own unique constellation of opportunities, its own inherent set of challenges, and its own distinct, often steep, learning curves. Let's meticulously consider the traditional employment route first. This path often characteristically provides a highly structured environment, meaning a system or situation that is organized and has a clear set of rules or conditions, offering a clearly defined career trajectory, meaning the path of one's career, a predictable and stable income, meaning earnings that are consistent and reliable, and often, crucially, unparalleled access to established mentorship programs, meaning structured initiatives where experienced individuals guide less experienced ones, and substantial corporate resources, meaning financial, human, or material assets belonging to a company. For a significant proportion of the workforce, this constitutes a path that inherently offers a profound sense of security and a reliable, often predictable, framework, meaning a basic structure underlying a system, concept, or text for their continuous professional development. Within this paradigm, one might diligently learn highly specialized skills within a specific department or functional area, actively benefit from meticulously designed formal training programs, and gain invaluable experience navigating the complexities of working within a larger, often hierarchical system, meaning an organization or structure in which people are ranked one above the other according to status or authority. And one could very reasonably contend that this provides an undeniably solid foundation, a robust and reliable springboard, meaning something that provides an impetus or point of departure for future professional endeavors, or indeed, a deeply satisfying and fulfilling career path in and of itself. However, the perceived drawbacks, meaning disadvantages, or problems often cited include a discernible lack of autonomy, meaning the freedom to make one's own decisions, a potentially limited control over one's specific work responsibilities and projects, and the inherent potential for a decidedly slower pace of innovation or decision-making when compared to the agile, dynamic environment of a nimble startup, meaning a new, small company that is quick and adaptable. For you, as advanced English listeners, when I meticulously discuss these intricate concepts, your astute ear would be focusing intently on discerning and comprehending vocabulary like career trajectory, stable income, established mentorship, programs, corporate resources, predictable framework, specialized skills, hierarchical system, lack of autonomy, limited control, and nimble startup. You are actively training your ear to absorb these business and career-specific terms with instantaneous recognition and to intuitively grasp their precise implications within the broader context of a strategic discussion about diverse professional pathways. This level of precise understanding is a hallmark of C1 mastery. Now, let's critically contrast meaning to compare in such a way as to emphasize differences that with the burgeoning, increasingly prominent entrepreneurial path, a professional trajectory that has garnered immense traction, meaning popularity or acceptance and unprecedented visibility in recent decades, particularly with the exponential rise of the pervasive digital economy. Entrepreneurship, by its very inherent nature, fundamentally champions innovation, meaning the action or process of innovating, a calculated willingness to embrace risk-taking, the practice of engaging in activities that involve potential danger or loss, and the promise of an often unparalleled autonomy, meaning the freedom to direct one's own actions and life. As a visionary founder, you are endowed with complete creative control, meaning the ability to direct or influence the course of a creative endeavor, the compelling potential for substantial, even significant financial upside, meaning the potential for future profit or gain, and the deeply profound, often indescribable, satisfaction of meticulously building something from its nascent origins, from the ground up, witnessing a cherished vision gradually come to fruition, meaning to be realized or fulfilled. The learning curve inherent in entrepreneurship is almost universally described as steep and often unforgiving, demanding continuous adaptation and relentless effort. Yet it is simultaneously perceived as incredibly rapid and profoundly comprehensive. You are, by necessity, forced to wear multiple hats, an idiom meaning to have several different roles or jobs, requiring you to simultaneously manage diverse responsibilities such as sales, marketing, finance, and product development, compelling you to constantly acquire new, disparate skills and relentlessly adapt to unforeseen, often bewildering, challenges. And you might reasonably interject, that sounds incredibly liberating, almost intoxicating. And indeed, for a great many individuals, it is precisely that. It's a pursuit driven by passion and a desire for profound impact. However, the crucial flip side, meaning the less appealing or advantageous aspect of a situation to this exhilarating coin, is the inherent instability, meaning the state of being subject to change or fluctuation, the immense and often debilitating financial risk involved, the frequently demanding hours that erode personal time, and the often solitary nature of the entrepreneurial journey, particularly in its initial stages. The precarious line between professional work and personal life can become completely blurred, meaning indistinct or difficult to perceive, leading to significant lifestyle challenges, and the specter of failure is a very real, ever-present possibility, meaning a constant and considerable chance of not succeeding. From the insightful perspective of a learner, entrepreneurship serves as an unparalleled masterclass in resilience, meaning the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness, problem-solving, the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues, and adaptability, the quality of being able to adjust to new conditions. It relentlessly forces you to operate consistently outside your conventional comfort zone, pushing the boundaries of your capabilities. As I meticulously discuss these intricate aspects, I urge you to pay astute attention to the precisely contrasting vocabulary I employ: immense traction, unparalleled autonomy, significant financial upside, bringing a vision to fruition, steep and unforgiving learning curve, wear multiple hats, unforeseen challenges, inherent instability, immense financial risk, solitary nature, blurred line, ever-present possibility, masterclass in resilience. You are actively training your ear to not only identify these terms, but to immediately comprehend the specific positive and negative connotations they carry as they are strategically used in direct comparison. Furthermore, closely observe my natural pronunciation and the subtle shifts in intonation as I emphasize these contrasting aspects. perhaps speaking with a slightly more energetic and enthusiastic tone when delineating the compelling upsides of entrepreneurship, and a more somber, serious, and measured tone when addressing its inherent risks and profound challenges. Understanding these nuanced vocal cues is an indispensable element of comprehensive C1 listening *.
So, having meticulously explored the intricacies of elevating your English, the profound shifts in modern relationships, and the compelling dichotomy of entrepreneurship versus employment, let's now synthesize and consolidate some overarching, universally applicable tips for improving your listening skills that are incredibly effective across all these diverse, engaging, and often complex conversations. These are not merely suggestions, they are proven methodologies for achieving C1 mastery. Firstly, and I cannot emphasize this enough, you must commit to practice shadowing regularly. As we meticulously discussed earlier, the very act of mimicking the natural pronunciation, the authentic intonation, and the precise rhythm of native speakers is not just a superficial exercise in speaking better. It profoundly and irrevocably trains your ear to accurately recognize those very same patterns, those subtle melodies of speech, when others articulate them. When you consciously hear a complex phrase like the allure of remote work is undeniably compelling, make a deliberate effort to say it back instantly, striving to precisely match the speaker's stress on allure and undeniably, and replicating the natural flow of the sentence. This active, vocal engagement creates a powerful, immediate feedback loop that significantly enhances your auditory processing capabilities. It helps bridge the gap between passive listening and active understanding, preparing your mouth and mind to produce the sounds you hear. Secondly, you must cultivate the diligent habit of writing down new vocabulary consistently. This is far more than just general note-taking. It's a strategic, highly effective act of actively capturing the specific terms, the precise phrases, and the nuanced expressions that are either unfamiliar to you or particularly pertinent and relevant to the subject matter being discussed. As you intently listen to me discussing the complexities of entrepreneurship versus employment, for instance, make a conscious effort to keep a running, meticulous list of terms like career trajectory, corporate resources, unparalleled autonomy, financial upside, steep learning curve, inherent instability, or masterclass in resilience. Crucially, don't merely write the isolated word. Make an immediate attempt to jot down the approximate context, or the entire phrase in which I utilized it. Then, later, after the listening session has concluded, dedicate focused time to meticulously reviewing this list. Look up the precise, nuanced definitions of these words. Pay meticulous attention to how they are used in various authentic example sentences. And, most importantly, identify their common collocations, words that naturally go together. For example, you wouldn't just learn autonomy, you would actively seek to learn unparalleled autonomy, or greater autonomy. This contextual learning is absolutely paramount for efficient C1 vocabulary acquisition. Furthermore, make a deliberate effort to use these newly acquired words and phrases in your own constructed sentences, or short paragraphs related to the discussed topics. This active production helps to profoundly shift the vocabulary from passive recognition to active, fluent usage, which is absolutely crucial for building your confidence in English speaking and for eloquently expressing complex ideas. The very physical act of writing down the words also creates a valuable kinesthetic memory, further solidifying your learning and aiding retention. Thirdly, employ the remarkably effective strategy of watching with subtitles first, then without. This iterative methodology is profoundly powerful for systematically bridging the often frustrating gap between what you audibly hear and what you cognitively understand. Find an engaging video that genuinely captivates your interest. Perhaps a documentary exploring social trends, an insightful interview with an entrepreneur, or even a compelling segment from a C1 level TV show. And watch a manageable segment. Perhaps 5 to 10 minutes with English subtitles meticulously turned on. As you attentively watch and listen simultaneously, your brain instinctively forges vital connections between the spoken word and its corresponding written form. This invaluable process helps you identify words you might not have readily recognized purely by sound, and it effortlessly clarifies challenging idiomatic phrases or structurally complex sentences. Pay meticulous attention to how the rapidly spoken words match their formal written form, particularly noting instances of connected speech or phonetic reductions. You'll begin to acutely notice, for example, how the spoken I don't know very frequently manifests phonetically as I do know in natural conversation. And this is the absolutely pivotal step for accelerated C1 level improvement. Immediately rewatch the exact same segment of the video, but this time, critically, without any subtitles whatsoever. You will be genuinely amazed, perhaps even astonished, at how much more you comprehend. Your brain, having already processed the content once with the invaluable visual support of subtitles, is now compelled to rely purely and exclusively on auditory input. This rigorously trains your ears to instinctively recognize those sounds, without the cognitive crutch of visible text. Systematically repeat this profound process with different segments, gradually increasing the length of the segments you confidently watch without subtitles. This iterative, targeted practice is phenomenal for profoundly enhancing your auditory processing speed and for rapidly building confidence in English speaking because it directly confronts and systematically targets your ability to understand unassisted, natural speech. It's a structured, highly efficient way to meticulously confront the inherent speed and authentic naturalness of English and systematically overcome your previous comprehension barriers. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, the absolute bedrock for C1 listening mastery is to listen regularly to improve your fluency. Consistency is not merely important, it is paramount. Think of your English learning journey as diligently training for a demanding marathon. You would never realistically expect to run 26 miles after just a few sporadic, short jogs. Similarly, achieving native-like comprehension and profound fluency necessitates sustained, dedicated effort, applied consistently over an extended period. Make concentrated English listening a non-negotiable, integral part of your daily routine. Even a focused 15 to 20 minutes of attentive listening every single day is exponentially more effective and yields significantly better results than one long, infrequent, and often exhausting listening session. Actively vary your content. Intentionally seek out different accents: British, American, Australian, Canadian, non-native fluent speakers. Explore diverse genres, news analysis, insightful interviews, captivating documentaries, immersive storytelling, stand-up comedy, and engage with content delivered at different paces of speech. The more diverse and multifaceted your auditory exposure, the more remarkably adaptable, resilient, and nuanced your ears will become. Do not, under any circumstances, be hesitant or afraid to revisit material. Listening to the very same podcast, episode, or video multiple times can yield new, profound insights with each iteration, allowing you to catch intricate details, previously missed vocabulary, or subtle nuances you might have completely overlooked in prior listens. Each subsequent re-listen deeply consolidates your understanding and indelibly solidifies your learning. Actively apply all the strategic methodologies we've discussed today. Practice vigorous shadowing of key phrases to significantly improve your verbal output. Meticulously write down new vocabulary to expansively build your active lexicon. Consciously watch with subtitles first, then without to strategically bridge any lingering comprehension gaps, and consistently, unwaveringly, make intensive listening a regular, deeply ingrained habit. The cumulative, synergistic effect of these deliberate and systematic practices will be truly profound and transformative. You will unequivocally find yourself understanding complex conversations with far greater ease, instinctively picking up on advanced vocabulary effortlessly, and eventually, articulating your own intricate thoughts with increased natural pronunciation and intonation, all of which culminates in an undeniable, authentic confidence in English speaking. Remember, every single minute you dedicate with focused intent to this practice is an invaluable investment in your boundless linguistic future. The profound ability to truly understand fast, natural English unfurls a vast panorama of possibilities, unparalleled access to immense reservoirs of information, the cultivation of deeper, more meaningful connections with native speakers from diverse backgrounds, and the gateway to enhanced professional opportunities across the globe. You are building not merely language skills, but a more sophisticated, nuanced, and critically engaged understanding of global communication itself.
The comprehensive journey to C1 level advanced English listening, to truly understanding and processing spoken English with the fluidity and precision of a native speaker, is unequivocally one of continuous, exhilarating growth, rewarding challenges, and ultimately, profound personal and professional enrichment. It fundamentally involves a deliberate and transformative shift in cognitive mindset, moving beyond merely passively hearing sounds to actively, analytically processing complex information. From the tedious, time-consuming process of mental translation to an instinctive, intuitive, and direct comprehension of meaning, by consistently and diligently exposing yourself to the intricate tapestry of authentic English audio, by actively engaging with real-life discussions and stimulating podcasts, by consciously and systematically practicing techniques like rigorous shadowing and meticulous transcription, and by eagerly absorbing advanced vocabulary and nuanced expressions within their natural contexts, you are not just incrementally improving your English. You are building an incredibly robust linguistic foundation. You are, in essence, systematically training your brain and your auditory system to function at an elevated, highly sophisticated level, akin to that of a native speaker. This unwavering dedication is precisely what sets you apart as a truly advanced and committed learner. You are building not just a collection of disconnected skills, but a deeply ingrained linguistic intuition that will serve you exceptionally well in any conceivable English-speaking environment. Whether it's the rigorous academic demands of an examination, the fast-paced, often spontaneous flow of a professional meeting, or the comfortable, natural cadence of a friendly, engaging chat, your profoundly enhanced listening abilities will unequivocally empower you to participate fully, meaningfully, and with an inherent, unwavering confidence. So, embrace every challenge that presents itself, celebrate every single victory, no matter how seemingly small, and remember that every moment of focused listening profoundly propels you closer to your ultimate goal of unparalleled fluency. I possess an unwavering, resolute belief in your inherent capacity to achieve this profound linguistic mastery. You have already taken the most critical, transformative step by consciously choosing to dedicate this valuable hour to your continued linguistic growth. Keep that vibrant flame of curiosity burning brightly, maintain that indefatigable momentum, and always remember that your consistent efforts are genuinely, remarkably, making an enormous, transformative difference in your English language proficiency. Thank you so much for dedicating your invaluable time and profound attention to joining me today on Super English Talks for this extensive C1 level advanced English listening practice. I truly, genuinely hope this C1 level English podcast for Fluency has been an incredibly beneficial, intellectually stimulating, and practically empowering experience for you, pushing your linguistic boundaries and equipping you with concrete, actionable tools for your ongoing English journey. If you thoroughly enjoyed our deep dive into these fascinating topics and found the listening practice profoundly valuable, please, I encourage you to consider giving this video a resounding thumbs up, share it generously with your fellow passionate English learners who are also striving for mastery. And most importantly, subscribe to Super English Talks for a continuous, rich stream of high-quality, advanced English lessons, insightful discussions, and immersive listening practice opportunities. Your support, your engagement, and your feedback mean the absolute world to me and the Super English Talks community, and they truly help me to continue creating content that is precisely tailored to your evolving learning needs. I always cherish hearing directly from you, so please do not hesitate to leave your comments, insightful questions, or invaluable suggestions in the comments section below. What specific aspects of modern relationships or the dynamics of entrepreneurship resonated most deeply with you? What other complex, intellectually stimulating topics or particular types of listening practice would you like me to meticulously cover in future podcast-style lessons? Your input is absolutely, unequivocally invaluable in helping me shape future content to best serve your unique and ambitious learning journey. Until our next captivating session, keep listening with unparalleled intent, keep practicing with unwavering diligence, keep exploring with boundless curiosity, and most powerfully, keep speaking English with profound, unshakable confidence. See you all very, very soon.